Hey, welcome to SlimTone Academy's podcast. My name is Coach Allen, and today I have a special guest to kick off our very first podcast episode. This person is not only one of my original clients, but she's actually a really good friend of mine. Her name is Brittany Massro. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in and let her tell us a little bit about herself. All right, so Brittany, tell us about you. What's up?
A little bit about me. Well, welcome to, the first episode. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, my background, I was fortunate enough to meet Alan. When did I meet you? Like 2013?
Oh, man.
14?
No, I'm really bad with dates, but it's 2013, 2014.
In that small little room
Small
at the
little
top.
10 by 10 box.
We couldn't play the music too loud because the
Oh,
yoga
just
next
off the
door
yoga,
was gonna
off
get
the yoga
mad.
people, the
Oh
yogis.
man. Yeah, that's a minute. Yeah, so a little bit about me. My background, I'm an occupational therapist by trade. I went to USC, played soccer on a soccer scholarship, got a bachelor's and a master's in occupational therapy. So by trade, I'm an OT. I've been doing that for the last 11 years, working with special needs students in the school district. And then a little bit before COVID, but definitely during COVID, I started working in the financial space, which is weird because I don't know how I really got there, to be honest. But yeah, I run a business. I have a team of about now 25 agents that I work with, talking about financial literacy and financial education and wellness, as it comes to finances and understanding how to save money, how to manage your money, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my background. Love fitness, obviously. I've learned a lot over the past couple of years, especially from Alan and Maria. And like he said, we were just here for a minute. I started, when he was small and just kind of followed him through all the gyms that we moved to. And it's always my like go-to for you guys. I mean, you guys are always, people ask me like, why do you still have the membership? And I'm like, because it's like one of those, it's like home to me. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys for that because it always feels like home, and it's always something that I know is consistent for me to, get my workout on. So I appreciate you guys for doing
We
that.
appreciate you, especially dealing with all the transitions we have from multiple locations and, all the different programs we brought in and all the different type of clients we've had in our studio, man. So I always appreciate my OGs, the people that kind of stuck it out with me through those weird phases, when just like me, like anytime you start a business, you kind of go into things sometimes with an idea, but not necessarily knowing the best way to execute that idea. And it's a process. It's a learning process. It's a journey, and we've had ups and downs, but the real ones, right, stuck with us, and we're making magic happen on a daily basis, even in our current landscape. Even though we can't train together in person, we're still, we found a way to make it work, kept those connections tight, and still doing the damn thing. So, so Brittany, I brought you in here because, not only were you one of the first clients of us back in the day, it was push-pull cardio, PPC fitness, and then we've settled in on SlimTone Academy just because it's kind of what we do. We work with professionals, entrepreneurs, adults, parents, students, and we kind of show them how to create a healthy lifestyle, even in the midst of a crazy busy schedule. Because a lot of times people think that it requires, several hours in the gym and, working buys and chest, splits and all this stuff. And it doesn't have to be that difficult. Fitness doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very simple. And we're here trying to show people how to do that. I got 2 kids, I'm married, I got this business, and I'm an IT guy, and I also do IT work for people that I've known throughout the years. And you gotta find a way to make it work, right?
Yeah.
With that being said, I kind of wanted to chat with you about kind of how your health has had an impact on you professionally, on your occupational therapy job, and then also with your new entrepreneurship with the your new business. So kind of tell me, like, when I met you, I think, were you just coming off an Achilles injury?
Yeah, I was actually. I was looking, so I just moved to Pasadena, California, and I was looking for a gym to work out at because I was new to the area, and I had been going to Orange County for TRX classes. And so it wasn't me who found you, it was my friend Liz who actually found you.
Yeah, I remember.
And so Liz invited me there. And so yeah, I was coming off an Achilles injury. Always been an athlete my entire life, but we're just looking for a space to honestly just call home, and that I enjoyed, and that also pushed me. So that's kind of why, I don't know, that's how we found you.
Okay, so you've been active pretty much your whole life, playing sports, and even when you weren't playing sports, you kind of kept up with your health. Now, I imagine that when you had that Achilles injury, you were kind of sidelined for a while.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It sucked. That wasn't my first time being injured. I broke my ankle 2 days after I graduated from high school, going into college. So that was my second rodeo at the rehab. I gained a good 15 pounds the first time, so that wasn't great. And then this time around, I really just figured out how to adjust my diet. I've always grown up around, my mom still works out 5, 6 days a week. She now has picked up pickleball, so that's her new thing.
Pickleball.
Pickleball, yeah, apparently it's a new retired thing. And then my dad also works out 5 days a week, so I always grew up around it. And I honestly think that even if you haven't grown up around it, it's always about a mindset development, whether your parents did it or you just doing it for yourself. For me, it's always become my safe haven because it's become such a strong habit of mine that you can't give it up. So going back to my Achilles, like, I adjusted my diet, but there was still like literally, I would get on the floor because I was at my mom's house because she was taking care of me. And I would do sit-ups and push-ups, like one-legged push-ups and sit-ups, just because I couldn't do anything else. Or I would go to the gym and I would row, or I would, figure out, or I would go and just do like upper body. Like, I would always figure out a way to do it, because for me, it made me feel productive. Like, it made me feel like even though I was sidelined, I was still doing something, which was better than nothing, right? Which comes back to a mindset of like, some people are all or nothing, which is great. But what if you were let me just do something versus just doing nothing,
When
So
you do, and things just get worse. I imagine that you probably bounced back the way you did because you maintained that mindset, and you kept yourself active, right?
yeah.
Now, a question for you, because you do have two jobs going on right now, right? How would you say that maintaining your health and maintaining your physical fitness helps you professionally with your OT job and with your entrepreneurship? Like, how would you do you think that it plays a role? Is there do you think you can have one without the other? Like, just what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, it is important to me, and there's a couple of reasons why. And it's funny because we were just talking about this like before we even started recording. Was one, working with kids for a long time, they come with a lot of germs, to be honest. Like, they're full of germs. And so my first couple years, I had to take vitamin C every morning, just to maintain a good level of my own health. Just to not get sick. I would get the sniffles when I first started. I would get the sniffles like every couple months, just because all the germs. And then my immune system just got used to it. And I stopped taking as much vitamin C, but I always take vitamins in the morning. I'm always aware of, and for me, I just noticed how sensitive my body is. I've always felt better, and more productive and less lethargic by eating better, eating well. And so by having right now, having two jobs, like, I can't afford to be sick. I can't afford to be unproductive, because being an OT, the kids depend on me. I got to show up. I got to be where I say I'm going to be. And as an entrepreneur, I'm running a team of 25 agents. They depend on me as well. And so for me, it's not about, don't get me wrong, I like looking nice in a bikini, and being able to like take, when like knowing that I work hard. But for me, it's about my mental health and my physical health and what state I put myself in. I think that's what people kind of miss. That it's the looking good is great, but I think that the feeling good and what you think about yourself is so much more important.
It's even better. Yeah.
Yeah, because the people who are, I'm not an expert in depression, right? But like, people in that space, they usually don't feel great about themselves because of X, Y, and Z reasons. And I bet if they just went for a walk, it may not solve the problem, but they may feel a little bit better about themselves if they went for a walk and got some vitamin D than if they didn't. But I think what happens is that people want to go 0 to 100 all the time.
Exactly.
Like one of my biggest pet peeves is someone who's like literally, because here's the thing, right? Like New Year is coming.
Yeah.
Okay. And we all know what happens, Alan, what happens in the gym on January 1st.
Oh man, it's crowded, right? We got all the bodies in there, and 2 weeks after that, the shit's back to normal.
Yeah, because people go 0 to 100. Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym every day. No, don't go to the gym. Here's what that's what I'm saying. Like, don't go to the gym every day.
You don't
How
have.
about you go for a walk?
Yeah.
3 days a week. If you go from nothing, if you just walk 3 days a week and make that a standard and create that as a habit, now you're giving yourself a stepping stone. What happens is people are like, oh, I'm going to do this without recognizing that one, they're hurting their bodies by doing it because their body's not ready for it. So of course, by day one, they're fired up. They did it. Day two, they're like, okay, I can do it. Day three, they're hurting and they force themselves to do it. Therefore, it becomes, I don't know, what's the word? It's painful. It's not fun anymore. Yeah. Versus it being something that, why don't you take your kids for a walk with you too? Like
Exactly.
And then it's a habit.
That's actually what we teach people, because inside of our academy, we have what we call the success path, and we teach people kind of how to take these small baby steps. Because like you said, people want to go from 0 to 100 because we all, who doesn't like instant gratification, right? Who doesn't like, seeing immediate results when you go do something? But, you spend most people spend years having let's just say an abusive relationship with their body, right? And it doesn't mean, you're not physically beating yourself up, but, you don't have the best workout regimen. Your diet's not the best. I know most adults probably not sleeping enough hours throughout the day. We're not drinking enough water, and we're kind of just like constantly just kind of like going to town on our body. And then we wake up one day and we make a decision like, you know what, I want to get healthy. And then, we go balls out, and then we end up hurting ourselves or being so sore to where you can't move, you can't shower. And yeah, you're right. It just doesn't become fun. And then, you try to go cold turkey with your diet. You was eating anything you wanted yesterday. And then tomorrow you want to go cold turkey. And then your body's also throwing a tantrum because it's used to the sugars and it's used to all these things it got addicted and used to. You just pulled it away, and it's now your body's not working with you. Your mind's not working with you, and your body's sore and you feel like crap. And then, yeah, you just kind of fall back on old habits, right?
It's interesting because, and I say this all the time, and it happens for me as an OT, but I'm sure you can relate. I always say everything starts proximal and goes distal. So proximal is at your core. Everything goes out to the ends. And what happens is your proximal is usually your mind. It's your mindset. So you start with an idea and you take that idea and you put it into action. The problem is that your proximal is not strong enough to maintain the distal. Therefore, like we talk about all the time in your classes, right? Like core tight, shoulders back and down, get everything in alignment here, and then we'll move to everything else out of around our core. Absolutely. The problem is people don't build their mindset and their core about what they're doing. So that therefore, when it becomes hard, because their mindset is not strong enough to maintain the distal, they go back to, the brain always goes to what it's comfortable with. That's our innate human need, is to be comfortable because it's a survival mechanism.
The alligator brain. We go back to just focusing purely on survival and what makes you happy, right?
Yeah, what feels good. And that's why I'm saying, like, going for a walk, you're building that proximal mindset around success and habit and completing a task that you wanted to do. The problem is that when you're, like I said, your core or your mindset is not strong enough and you haven't built those thought patterns long enough to go do harder things. When you go do that harder thing, of course your body's going to do it. But the problem is your mind doesn't have the stamina to keep up with what you're wanting your body to do. So then you go, the gym after the first 2 weeks, guess what? Everyone who tried to go 0 to 100 is gone. Everyone who's been there the whole year is still there because their proximal is way stronger than anyone else's who quit because they had been doing it longer. And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, and so I kind of want to touch on another thing, because then you have the other folks who don't even try, right? We have, because look, I work in a professional environment. Like we know that the business is not my primary thing, right? It's something that I did. I don't want to say why I did it, because it's a whole other. I did it because
you should do on your next episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other reason why
your business is your business.
Yeah. So I'm about to say that one because that's a whole nother side. We'll sidebar like crazy on that one. So, but I started the business for personal reasons, but essentially I wanted to do something to give back to people, and to prolong life, right? Essentially, I wanted to prolong life because I feel like there's a lot of things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that are absolutely unnecessary if we just made a few small changes with the way that we conduct ourselves as grown-ass adults, right? But with that being said, is like, I had to do consults, right? I had to meet people on a daily basis, and people come in, so like that's a big step because they took the time to raise their hand and say, hey, you know what, I need help. I want to make changes. And then they come in, and it was so hard for me because I would see these people like literally craft these excuses to not even do anything, right? And it's like, like, oh, I don't have time. I'm like, well, sure you do, right? Like you watch TV. I know you watch some kind of TV show, and because keep in mind, my consults were strategic, right? I would ask certain questions in the beginning, just kind of get an idea of how much time they have, because they didn't have time. I wouldn't try to like bring them on as a client. So I would ask things like, what is your diet like? Oh yeah, I have wine every night and this and this. I'm like, all right, cool. So you're chilling every night for at least 15 to 30 minutes drinking wine. All right, cool. What do you do for fun? And then they start telling me about this stuff. And, another thing that's pretty crazy is that social media, right? It's we all
shows you everything.
Yeah, it shows you everything. So when you're telling me like I don't have time, because we got old clients who leave and say they because of time, but then you see them and like every 2 seconds they're at Disneyland and they're at all these things. I'm like, man, damn, like you sure like do a lot of stuff for somebody who doesn't have time to work out and things like that. Anyways, going back to it, but I see people talk themselves out of stuff. Time is always the number one thing, right? And being that you have two professions, how do you feel about when people tell you that they don't have time to do something? Like,
it's funny because I feel like this completely coincides with my business, because a little bit of background about the business is I didn't come from a financial space. I was mentored into the space, showed how to get a license, all that stuff. And so that's my role now, is I take the average everyday person as a client, I mentor them and coach them on how to educate them in their financial wellness. Or on the agent side of someone like myself who comes in, wants a shot at business, I can mentor them and coach them on how to become a successful entrepreneur in our financial wellness space. And the same thing happens is I don't have time. My plate is too full. And our thing is, well, get a freaking bigger plate, first of all. But the question is always, it's not that people don't have time. Because people will find time for things that are important to them and that they value. The reason why I find time to work out. Now, I'll be honest. Have I worked out today? No. Did I work out yesterday? No. But did I work out the day before? Yeah. You know how I did it? Your guys' online class at 8:00 at night. Okay. Because I got done late, but I knew I needed to work out. So I found time to do it. But people find time for what they value. And the problem is when people don't make a movement, it's usually because of one of two things: is they don't value it enough, or they haven't had enough wins in their life to think that they can do it. It comes back to their proximal, it comes back to their mindset. Mm-hmm. But I bet you if those same clients, if you had some magic crystal ball and you said, hey, look, in the next 15 years, if you don't make a change, or you even said tomorrow, if you don't do this today, tomorrow you will lose your life. I guarantee you that person will find time the next day to go to a workout. Mm-hmm. But that's the problem, is people think they have time and they don't value their health because they think that, oh, it never happens to me. It'll never happen to me. And I'm going to say the same thing when it comes to finance. I'm not worried about retirement because it'll be fine when I get there. Mm-hmm. Or I'm not worried about life insurance because I'm immortal, which is insane because no one's immortal. But the same thing happens for health. I'm immortal. It's fine. I don't have to do it. Or I know that I'm unhealthy, but I can do what I want to do and it's fine. Not projecting in the next 10 years. You may not be able to wipe your booty or put your pants on because you're too heavy. Yeah. But right now it's fine.
Yeah, because I get people like, oh, I feel selfish if I work out because I got kids and I got a husband at home. I'm like, well, what is more selfish? Like, spending 15 minutes to 30, 15 to 60 minutes a day to take care of you, so that way you can take care of them other 23 hours a day, or something bad happening to you and now you can't help them at all. Because, like for me, I mean, me personally, so I've been in situations where I couldn't help my child. You know, like there was no answer. There was nothing I could do. And I'm telling you right now, that's the shittiest feeling in the world, is knowing that you can't help somebody. But I got 2 kids here now, and I need to make sure that I can be there for them when they need me the most. And the only way that I can do that is to care for myself, to have a decent diet. I'm not, you know, and the thing is, like, everybody thinks that getting healthy means I need to get 6-pack ready, or, you know, like bikini ready, and that's not it. Like, it looks different from everybody else. But what I'm saying is, you should have a healthy body fat percentage. You know, like, you should be in the average range. We're not talking about, you know, oh, it's, you know, being shredded or ripped up. No, just be healthy, so that way you can be who you need to be for those around you. You know, like, I can't be selfish and say, screw it, I'm gonna just not work out and eat like a, you know, eat whatever I want to, because if something happens to me, my kids are negatively affected by that. Every time I get a migraine, so I get, you know, chronic migraines, and anybody knows me knows that I get really bad migraines. And during that time, I'm telling you, the biggest thing for me that I think about is me not being able to interact with my kids and play with my kids and go outside and rip and run, because they'll say, oh, daddy, you want to go do this? I'm like, no, baby, I can't. I got this migraine. I got to sit in this dark room. That's what hurts me the most. And so for all the people who think it's selfish to work out, it's selfish to not work out and not to be at your best. I mean, when you get on the damn airplane and they say in case of emergency, they say, who puts the mask on first? The adult. And then you put it on your kid, because if something happens to you, your kid is done. So you need to make sure that you're operating at your best, so you can be your best for your kids and for your husband and, you know, maybe for your pets or whoever it is. And that's the thing that kills me the most, is that, you know, we're really good at making excuses and not just doing the hard work. And sometimes the hard work it can be as simple as, like you said, going for a walk. You know, walk with your kids. You know, walk with your significant other. You know, build a bond. Get them into a healthy routine themselves. Like, nurture your kids so that when they get our age, they have habits in place, so they don't have the same struggles we have today. Because it's only going to get worse. You know, like you know, we don't, there's nothing real these days. You know, everything's freaking modified and created in the lab. Like, it's only going to get worse. So, like, we need to make sure that these foundations are in place. So, yeah, it sucks, man.
I agree I mean, here's what I love. 2 things is, one, I just mentioned that my parents both work out 5, 6, 7 days a week.
I met your mom and your dad, and first of all, your mom, like, she can be your sister, right?
I know. I call her Benjamin Button.
Yeah, your mom looks like she could be your sister. So, like, yeah, you could definitely tell that they take care of themselves. But yeah, what were you saying, Brittany? My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. Like, my parents, like, growing up, for me, seeing my parents at the gym. Now, my parents made sacrifices. My mom used to go early in the morning. My dad would go after work before he came to pick us up. But to us, it was a normal, your kids will never question necessarily what you're doing. They only observe your actions. So if you're setting an example for your children of, this is a part of my routine, mommy has to go get a workout in, or daddy has to go get the workout in. And I love too that you and Maria were so accommodating to clients as well, because kids would be in this place all the time, sitting down, you know, doing whatever they were doing, playing in their little corner on the floor, like, and you would bring your kids too, which I thought was amazing. And then there's videos of your little ones picking up kettlebells at home, because they're exposed to it. And so to them, it becomes normal. And when it becomes normal, again, you're developing that proximal support and that strength and mindset when it comes to working out. When they see mommy and daddy crushing it at home, they may not be a part of the workout necessarily. And the beautiful thing now about your program is that it's online. So, like, you don't have to go anywhere. You can do it at home. But when your kids can see what you're doing, they automatically will imitate that. Now, if you're not happy with where you're at when it comes to your fitness or whatever it is, you're the reason why you're not happy. It's a compounding effect of choices made day over day over day over day over day. Now, your kids are also seeing that. So imagine the compounding effect of your child's thought process when they see mommy or daddy making unhealthy choices time after time. Now, they don't know it's unhealthy. They just know it's what you do. Absolutely. Therefore, they will take on that same habit again and again and again. It becomes generational, which again, I'm going to go back to finance. It's the same. And this is why I love what I do. It's the same thing. Absolutely. Your financial decisions will determine how your kids make financial decisions, because they're going to watch what you do. Absolutely. Until they learn better, they won't do better. That's why I'm so thankful for what I'm doing, because I got to learn better. Yep. But one thing about fitness is that I'm in this space and I love it because of my parents, because my parents set a really good example. We didn't have soda in the house. We had some juices sometimes. When my mom brought home cream soda from the market or chocolate pudding, we were fired up. Like, heck yeah. There was never if mom brought home chips, mom was in a good mood that day. Like, we didn't have the option to do. She's like, oh, do you want a snack? Yeah, mom. Well, there's fruit in there. Go get some berries. I bought you watermelon. Go eat some watermelon. I bought you some string cheese, right? So it was always that. Now Friday nights were pizza nights. So it wasn't a complete takeaway. Mom always said do everything in, she goes, everything is good in moderation. To this day.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny though? Because I would have stopped you because people love saying everything in moderation. Like, and I know like your mom set a good example and you guys knew what that meant, right? But I hear that today, and what I kind of learned is that people's definition of moderation is way free. that spectrum is like this. It's like moderation. And some people it's like, oh, 1 to 2 times a week. And some people's definition of moderation is like 1 to 2 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, it's
and we would, to this day, our family conversation is like, if we go to a wedding or a birthday party and there's cake available, my mom will get a piece of cake and she'll take a bite and we'll look at each other and like, Mom, is it worth it? And she goes, not really worth it. And I'm like, all right, well, let me try. I'll eat it. Not worth it. Because if I'm going to eat something like a cake or a cookie, it better be worth it. It better be worth me. You know what I mean? If it's good, sometimes we'll sit there. I'm like, Mom, is it worth it? Oh yeah. So worth it. Sweet. Let me go get some.
Yeah.
But that's it's a family culture. It's a family habit. That's how we communicate about like, nutrition and food. Mom, when I go over, mom's not like, oh, let me go eat Jack in the Box. She's like, what do you want for dinner? Do you want some salmon? You want chicken? I can have some veggies. Like, we can do like a little stir fry. Like, that's our conversation. The question is, what is your, not you, Alan, but what are people's family conversations around food?
Well, because I grew up in the South, and the way we grew up with food, man, my dad's a foodie, so I know I'm putting him on blast, but if you ask him, he'll tell you the same thing. So like, it was none of that when I was growing up. And we didn't have all the money in the world, so we grew up on like Church's chicken and ramen noodles and, going to the store with $1 and buying like any kind of thing we can get our hands on. So like, for the people who didn't necessarily have the same type of, upbringing that, like you had where, your parents did a good job of teaching you the fundamentals between moderation and making healthier choices, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't undo these things, and the thing is, and kind of going back to what you said earlier, it doesn't have to go 0 to 100. You have to start somewhere and always focus on making those decisions that you can commit to. Like, what can I commit to long term? And then start with something like, can you commit to just making sure you're drinking at least 64 ounces of water per day? Now, 64 ounces of water per day, in my opinion, is not enough, but it's a good starting point. Can you commit to that? And then do that for a few weeks and then say, okay, I'm drinking water on a consistent basis. What else can I commit to? Can you commit to that 10-minute walk every day? Can you, with your kids and your significant other, if you have one? Can you commit to now adding some strength training? Can you commit to doing this? Like, it's about making those small baby steps, because what I tell people all the time, because like, and I'm guilty of it too, where when I want to lose some weight or, something's coming up, like I'm going to go visit family and I want to kind of shave off a few pounds and tighten up a little bit. We want those, like I said, instant gratification. We want those fast results. But what I tell people, because training all these clients, we used to have people with mixed results. Some people will lose a pound a week. Oh, I'm only losing a pound a week. I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
Right.
If you lost a pound a week for 3 months, how much weight did you lose? Oh, 12 to 15 pounds. Like, well, when's the last time you lost 12 to 15 pounds? Oh, about 10, 15 years ago. Like, all right, cool. What if you lost 1 to 2 pounds a week for 6 months? What if you did it for a whole year? Like, it doesn't have to be those huge 5 pounds a week, 20 pounds a month, 20 pounds in 6 weeks. It's all about making small, consistent changes and then not reverting back, right? And and the same thing with finance, right? Like, if you just saved, $50 a week. Let's say if you save $10 a day or $5 a day, or you didn't buy that one bullshit thing that you buy every single day. You just put that in a savings account. How much money would that be in a whole year from now? You know what I mean? So like, it's that compounding effect of just making small, consistent changes. And I just try to coach people up on that and to take those baby steps. People just don't want to. I mean, it's insane the amount of resistance you get even on making small, subtle changes. People If it ain't big, they don't want to do it sometimes.
Yeah, if you don't see it right away. Now there's two tools that may be helpful, okay? One of them is there's a couple things I've learned during COVID because I had a lot of time, and
Hmm.
there was two people who came out of COVID. One person came out of COVID knowing a lot of Netflix shows. The other person came out of COVID having a lot of growth. Like there was only one of two people. And one of the things I learned is that I started reading 10 pages a day, just 10 pages a day. And it changed my whole life. And just like you're talking about, whether it's making small choices for your health and in your wellness, whether it's going for a walk for 10 minutes versus not going for a walk. Imagine going for a walk for 10 minutes a day for a whole week. That's an hour of walking that you wouldn't have done had you not done 10 minutes. So two things that I think could be helpful on our topic. One is there is a book called The Slight Edge by, I'm looking over here, it's in my bookcase, by Jeff Olson. It talks about the power of compounding efforts over time. The second thing is I just pulled it up on my phone. It's an app. It's called the Streaks app.
Oh
And
yeah.
you get to design what your daily to-dos are. And like you'll see mine is a workout, a walk, a Bible study, reading, and a gallon of water drinking a day. And what it does is that you get to give yourself positive feedback. If you're a person who likes to do lists, you have a positive feedback for completing a task. And then it also tracks, like it'll track how many days that you hit it. So you can go and see your success rate. And confidence, what creates confidence is keeping the promises that you make to yourself on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
So if you make those small choices and okay, today I'm just going to go for a 15-minute walk. Great, go for that walk. And then congratulate yourself for that walk and give yourself that boost of dopamine that you're excited about, that you completed a task. That's how you build confidence. So going back to the clients who have the excuse, it mostly comes down to valuing it and also the confidence to complete a task.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
may be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going to plug myself right now. So first of all, for those who don't know, we have a free community. So if you go to GetSlimTone.com, you can actually join our community online for free. Now that gives you basic access to like some, we do freebies once a month. We'll have like a free PDF covering a particular topic, but you can also engage in meaningful conversations, ask for advice, tips, and things like that. But then in our SlimTone Academy, which is a paid part of it, we have pretty much what we're trying to create is something to cover everybody's needs. So like, hey, I only got 10 minutes, then we got 10-minute workouts in there. If you got 20 minutes, you got 30 minutes. We have workout links of various links. They're all like doable. We have things with equipment, without equipment. And if you're feeling really good, you can join us and actually work out with our SlimTone Live community, where me or my wife will coach classes, and we have awesome people like Brittany who attend and kick ass. So definitely hit us up. And then Brittany, tell us about your finance.
My business.
How can you help us improve our financial wealth?
Yeah, so if you want to follow me or connect, you can go to my Instagram. I think Alan's probably going to put it up on there. @Brittany Massro is my Instagram handle. There's also a website on my profile. You can click and learn a little bit about me. My entire goal, our system on the agent side is like real estate. So anyone can go get a real estate agent license. It doesn't mean they're going to go be a really successful real estate agent, but it also means that they could, if they have good, they have consistency, they have good work ethic, all those types of things, and they learn the skill. And so that's what I do, is I help agents, from any background. We have doctors, nurses, engineers, 911 dispatchers, teachers, like from every walk of life in our firm, who are just trying to win, honestly, in that space. And then of course the mission and the service that we provide is we provide financial education to the average everyday person. All those things we should have learned in high school, but probably didn't. If you're someone who has no idea how your 401k works, or doesn't know how you're getting to retirement, if you don't know what your financial independence number is, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram, and we can definitely talk about it. I have an overview video. It's like 19 minutes long. If you just wanted to kind of be like, hey, Britt, what is this? What are you talking about? I can send you a video and you can watch it and you can decide for yourself if you love it or hate it. But yeah, that's what I'm building now. And I was the person in COVID who came out with growth. My entire team was built on Instagram. So it was compounding efforts over time. I didn't start but before COVID, it was me in business by myself. And now it's down up to about 25. So I'm a junior broker now, which is cool that I was able to do that through COVID and Instagram. So my time spent on Instagram now, for those of you who spend time scrolling on Instagram, that's cool. But what if you could build a business on Instagram instead, and be able to help a lot of people get to where they want to go? So yeah, that was a little quick snippet of it.
And they can use that time scrolling on Instagram to get a freaking workout in. All right, you know what? And if you want to scroll on Instagram, go out for a walk and scroll while you walk, right? Again, it all starts with those baby steps. And if you're a parent, if you're an entrepreneur, professional, adult, student, whatever, the value of your health is priceless, especially in today's climate with all the craziness and the madness going on. I like to think of my body as like my military, right? As my, think about our military, for our country, right? Would you want your military like taking time off and not training, not practicing, not really doing much, just kind of like sitting around doing nothing? And then when something happens, they just supposed to jump up and protect us to the best of their ability? No, right? So your body, your immune system and your body is your military, right? So you got to build it up. You got to keep it strong. You have to give it the tools to fight off disease, to fight off, pretty much any kind of challenge, whether it's physical, mental, that comes your way. So you have to build it up and keep it in practice, keep it training, keep it healthy, so that way it can be there for you when you need it the most. So, and it's just going to make you more successful in your jobs, right? And it's going to make you more successful in school. It's going to make you more successful in life and make you more resilient. So, I'm just here. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis because I just think it's a shame when I see people not being who they can truly be, not looking the way they can look, not feeling the way they should feel, not having the energy, not having the confidence, not having the right mindset. We need that. We need that today in today's climate, and we need that especially for you guys who have people who look up to you. If you're in a position where you're a role model, if you're a parent, you're a role model, whether you like it or not. That's what we kind of sign up for. Think about what we're teaching our kids, because like Brittany said earlier, kids learn by what they see, but not by what they're told, right? We tell our kids all the time, "Oh, go do this, go do that," but if you're not doing it, then they're not going to do it, because obviously the value is not there for you. Therefore, it shouldn't be there for them. So if you want them to be healthy yourself. If you want them to eat better, show them how it's done. If you don't want to have this kid grow up with preventable diseases, show them how it's done. Give them the tools they need to be successful, so that when they're 18, you're giving them a fair shake at life, and they're not trying to undo all the bad things that we did to them, for the 18 years when they were under our care. So, yeah, man, we got to do better, man. We got to be better. I just read an article the other day that 1/3 of the population on this planet is obese, and that's a damn shame. 1/3, 2 billion people on this planet are obese, and it's only going to get worse. So, any questions, Brittany? Any closing thoughts?
No. At the end of the day, it's all about how you think about you, and what you think you deserve will determine what actions you take towards your health and your wellness for you, first and foremost, of course, and then for your family and for generations to come. You're going to be either the catalyst for positive change, or you're going to be the catalyst of the other 1/3 of the population who's overweight. Which side are you choosing? And again, I think that it's compound. Right? It's a compounding effect, and you can compound positively or negatively. And I think, again, I'm a kid person, so I'm gonna throw this here. We are the example for the next generation. And what example are you leaving? What are you leaving behind for your kids? Is it a positive or a negative experience? So, no, that's it, Alan. I appreciate you and giving me a shot and reaching out and have this conversation. I'm excited for you and for what's to come, and I feel very honored to be your first guest, for sure.
Hey, I'm glad to have you, and I'm glad that you've you've been there for me throughout the years. I've ran all kind of ideas by you. I've talked to you about things. We've sat around, went to dinner, talked about different ideas and concepts, and you've gone beyond just being a client. You know, you've become a good friend of mine, somebody that I can trust, who's going to get, you know, keep it 100 with me and tell me, even if it's some shit I don't want to hear. I'm like, oh, that kind of hurt, but you're right. So I appreciate that. You've been great, and thanks for, you know, agreeing to do this first episode with me, man. So you know, I'd love to have you back again in the future, and we could talk some more about different topics, and we're gonna, I think, together we can change some lives, you know, from
Hopefully.
a health standpoint and financial health. You know, things are changing. Inflation is real, so we got to do some shit, right? We got to
Body inflation too. Let's
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, man. So with that being said, I'm signing off. Brittany, thank you again, and you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and subscribe to our channel. Peace.
Bye.